Jaymie-Lee, is it Gerena?
Gerena.
Gerena. Oh, that's fun. Jaymie-Lee, Jamie, I was trying to roll.
You're gonna botch it.
Welcome to the Empower Network. I'm really excited you're here because we've been connecting on Facebook for a few weeks now, I think. And
Yeah.
I actually saw some of your posts about how your bit of your backstory of how you got to where you are. And I was very inspired. And I was like, okay. And then I checked out more stuff. I was like, oh, and then you agreed to, interview and join it. I'm just so excited you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited to have this conversation with you and your wonderful people inside of the group.
Amazing. And we are unintentionally coordinating.
I mean, we planned this. We had a conversation about this.
Yeah, this is funny because what did you say the word verbiage was? We are in
rapport.
rapport because of
Yeah.
happening. So we're going to talk about however you'd like to take this. Now you have Jaymie-Lee coaching. You've just hit some significant goals, which will appeal to certain personality types that want to have a successfully financial business that's also rewarding in the way that they're servicing the world. And you've hit a number of months of $75,000 a month. US, it's like 110,000 Canadian.
Is it really? I haven't done the conversion. That's amazing.
It's 110, 115 on a bad day, $1,000. So you've hit some significant financial goals, which are indicators of something we would love to, I'd love to park on, as in, how did you get to ramping that up? Probably more importantly, or just as importantly, at least, is you're specifically working with females and you're helping them break through to a life they've never had before after you yourself have broken through, after everything you've been through. So I just want to turn this over to you. Do you want to introduce yourself or however that looks? And let's start telling this story, because a lot of women and men are going to feel really empowered by your story, Jaymie.
Thank you so much. I mean, I guess the first place to start is I'm a transformational strategist. I'm a mother to 3 wonderful little children who are my absolute pride and joy. But the reason why I decided to lean into becoming a transformational strategist was because I had to learn how to transform my own life first. And so I grew up being a child of 2 drug-addicted, gang-affiliated parents. I have seen the hardest of times, from being in the cold winters without any heat or electricity. I've gone through trauma after trauma of sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse growing up. And I've gone through so much pain in my life that I decided I couldn't do it anymore. I remember being, gosh, I think I was 22 at the time, a mother to 2 already, at the end of my marriage. And I remember leaving with $48 to my name and sitting in the apartment on the floor of my bedroom, just bawling my eyes out and really just screaming to whoever would listen, right? Whoever you want to call it, whether it's higher self, God, source, whatever you want to call it or put a name to it. I remember just screaming out in agony for answers. And I received an answer. It wasn't really what I thought that it would be, but it was an answer. And it was, if you can't find the light, then you've got to be the light. Now, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, but I went to handy dandy Google and I was like, all right, F it. I've got to figure something out. So I remember going to Google with how to be happy. Something as simple as that changed my entire life and changed the route of my entire life. Now, when I looked up Google and I looked up how to be happy, I was flooded with information. Information without action is poison to our mind, right? If we just continue to receive the information and we don't take action, we can't necessarily build belief around the information.
Just for a second, can I just ask you about that? Information without action is poison to our mind, because without action, you can't build belief.
That's around the information.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So, you can't build belief. And so there's people who look up things all day, every day, and they're like, yeah, that only works for some people, or yeah, that's only true for some people, but they don't take it as belief for themselves. And so the information is just information unless used, unless action is behind it. And so I remember when I looked up how to be happy, I was going post after post after post, article after article, YouTube video after YouTube video, until I stumbled upon the big guy, Tony Robbins. And I was watching one of his intervention videos about pain and trauma and people of suffering. And I went down the rabbit hole of Tony. And I went down the rabbit hole so deeply that I ended up attending one of his seminars, Unleash the Power Within. Oh. And it was in that seminar that I not only began to rewrite my own story, but I came home and I read 16 books in 3 months. I was obsessed with personal development. I was waking up in the morning before the kids would get up at 5 a.m. And I was just listening to audios to rewire my mind, rewire my unconscious mind at that. I was taking care of the kids all day and figuring out how to make money working from home. So at this time, I was actually in network marketing, just trying to make ends meet. And then they would go to bed, and then I would still listen to audio messages to rewire my mind until I fell asleep. I was so persistent. I was so hungry to change. I was so hungry for more that I did whatever it took. There was a point in my career after I was making a couple of $1,000s a month and I was seeing some good success that I sold my car to hire my first coach.
I saw this post.
Yes, I sold my car. No single mother in her right mind would ever sell their car to hire their coach.
No.
But I did it. And the reason why I did it was because I had that still small voice in my soul that was like, you are the light. You have to stand up. You've got to stand up for this. If you don't do it, no one else will. Wow. I was my only hope in that moment. It was me or it was nothing. It was do or it was die. My back was against the wall and I had to make a decision in that moment. Did I desire to just continue to find all of the ways that I possibly could potentially make money? Or did I want to sign up with a coach that was going to accelerate my time, accelerate, quantum leap the goal in shorter amount of time? And so I put everything on the line and made the investment, and it paid off. In truly just a couple of months, everything changed. Not only was my mindset stronger from doing all of the personal development that I was doing, but I learned the strategy. I learned the strategy of storytelling. I learned the strategy of marketing. I learned the strategy of messaging, right? I learned how to build a network. Here's somebody who had nothing growing up, right? I was a high school dropout. I had nothing to my name. I had no family to support me in this regard. But what I did have was tenacity and resiliency and faith in myself. And I had a hunger and I was starving to meet that version of myself that I wanted to become. And so I took action. And that's really what started it all.
Can you touch on, you just said, Jaymie, you were starving? Because that people resonate with that. Starving, effing starving to meet the version of yourself you knew you could always be, but you'd not been. What was that journey like? Because until you break through that ceiling, whatever proverbial ceiling, you only can imagine what did that look like? Was there a key moment? Obviously there's many moments, but what was a key moment or two that allowed you to even believe you could? And what was there a catalyst? Was there did someone say something? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of those moments, but I remember, I don't know if you guys where are you located? Are you in Canada?
Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah. So I don't think you guys have Chick-fil-A over there, but we have this fast food place. It's called Chick-fil-A. And it is this Christian ran fast food. And it's like this amazing chicken. It's so delicious. Sorry for the vegans in this group. I really apologize. I love you. But I remember going and I went with a dear friend. And as I'm eating these little chicken nugget bites, I remember sobbing because we had this conversation and I was telling her, there's no way that I could be successful. There's no way that I could do this. Everybody seems so happy and I'm not happy. I'm not okay. I don't know how some people do it. Like, how do I get from where I am to where you are? At this time, this woman, and she still is very, very successful. And I'm so honored that that was one of my first encounters to success. But she looked at me with just such love and certainty. And she was like, do you really believe that? I get choked up thinking about it. And there was a moment in my soul that was like, fuck no, I don't believe that. But that's what I was made to believe. There's this inner child in you that always has such belief, right? We learned this behavior over time to doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why the children that see the Lamborghinis are enamored. There's a reason why the parents or the adults are like, yeah, whatever, it's just a Lamborghini, because they forgot what it feels like to dream and believe in the potentiality.
Wow.
And so for a moment, that inner child was like, you know what? I do believe it. We can do this. I do deserve this. And so I got really fed up with the version of myself that I believed that I was. And I decided to dream again. I decided to dream into that version of me that even if I didn't fully believe it was possible, I watched other people and I was like, I desire that. And if I desire that and a part of me desires it, then that means I'm not as separate as I think or thought that I was. If I have this desire, this mustard seed size desire in my heart, that means it was made for me. That means it was meant for me. If you have this passion or this burning desire in your soul and it won't go away, that is your purpose. No matter how many jobs you get, no matter how much you do, if it's still there every day and you're ignoring it, you are ignoring your purpose. You're ignoring your life purpose. And so lean in.
That's what you call a mic drop. So, amen, sister. So first of all, how do people get a hold of you? Because I'm going to tag you in this. Let's just touch on that quickly. How do they get a hold of you? What website, what do they do?
Yeah, so it's Jaymie-Gerena. It's Jaymie. Last name is Gerena. Facebook, Instagram, hello@jaymiegerena.com, email. I mean, I keep things really, really easy. Jaymiegerena.com for my website. I mean,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Can you give us, obviously this is paid off in your life. Can you give us a testimonial or two of clients, maybe women or whoever, men or women you've worked with who maybe had some, stuff to process through, and maybe the story of how they have come through that now?
Yeah. So I do something called a breakthrough session. And really, this is an opportunity for people to just lay everything out on the line. Everything they don't want, everything they hate, and everything they desire on the line. And there's been there's been many of my clients who actually come to me with trauma and come to me with PTSD or come to me with thoughts that just aren't serving them. Let's be honest, we all have them, right? And so we're not above it. We all have thoughts, and those thoughts linger sometimes. Now, the two that just hit me every single time and just hit me in my gut, there's one in particular. I've known her since middle school. She followed me and watched me on the journey all throughout after high school. She knew about me, but we never had this connection or really a friendship at this moment in time. And she watched me throughout social media, watched me when I became an entrepreneur, watched me as I scaled my business. And I remember reaching out to her when I was in network marketing, and I was like, hey, super amateur, do you want to join my team? Just like, no, hard pass. Ignored me for years. And once I really started showing up, and I showed up for myself first, and I allowed other people to witness my experience through life and my experience through business, I remember the day she reached out and she was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm in. I don't know what you're doing, but I want it. You look happy. You look full of life. I don't know what it is. I've been following you. I hated you for a while. Now I love you again. Because here's the truth. People that you're following and that you really, really appreciate, they're going to say some shit and it's going to trigger you.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to this point where you're like, okay, what in me is being triggered right now? What in me that I'm unwilling to take a look at is being triggered in me right now? So it has less to do about the person that you're triggered by and so much more about what's going on in your heart set.
Would you agree? This is a thought I'm processing, Jaymie. I'd like to get your opinion. I'm starting to think more and more that not all, but some of the gold in life is past. Whatever, this is the event, this triggers me, I feel pissed off, and it always comes through a person. So this conduit, this person, I want to get angry at them, and I'm starting to believe more and more that the gold, a lot of the gold in life is past that, and that if I don't call them names, get angry, blame them, think of all the ways they're stupid, if I actually get curious like a kid, you're saying a kid at a Lamborghini, go towards it and go, what is this trying to teach me? It's like the gold's on the other side of all those things I used to want to run away from because they hurt my feelings. Not that feelings don't matter, but I would use it as a reason to rebound the other direction. And I'm wondering if a lot of the gold is on the other side of that. What do you think of that?
I mean, here's the truth of the matter. Everything's on the other side of your fears. And so if you're fearful to take a look at what's in front of you because it triggers you, you're missing the point. As you said it, you're missing the gold. If every time somebody denied a program with me or said they didn't want to sign up or denied a conversation, or if I would have said no to you for this podcast, right? But your willingness to proceed forward and ask is what got you to the other side. Do you see what I'm saying? So many people are so afraid of what it looks like that they're afraid to put themselves in the space, that they're afraid to look at the past. They're afraid to look at their life circumstances and see how that could have possibly been a gift. I could have been a victim to my circumstances, and I was for a very long time. Let me get that very, call a spade here. I was a victim to my circumstances for a very long time until I woke up one day and decided to be the victor of my story. You have to be willing to back you when nobody else backs you. You have to be willing to stand up for yourself and in your truth of identity that you believe is possible for yourself when everybody else doubts you. So if you are unwilling to look at what's holding you back, you are also telling the universe that you're unwilling to succeed. Because we can only go as far in life as we believe we are worthy and deserving of.
I just wrote down two things you had said. One is one day you decided to show up for yourself first. That's simple and extremely profound. And the second is one day you decided to be the victor of your story instead of the victim, because we've all been victimized, and like it or not, we've all victimized others in some way, shape, or form, at least in their mind. Yeah. So we all play a part. And so when you decided one day to be the victor of your story, no longer the victim.
Yeah. Wow. So I know that you asked specifically about these clients. So the first one that I was sharing, she ended up joining me in my coaching business as someone who was a paralegal for a couple of years at that point. She went to law school, decided it wasn't for her, dropped out, and then was a paralegal and was just sitting there wondering, like, I don't even know what I want to do with my life. I have this vision of becoming a VA, a virtual assistant, but I don't know how to put it into action. She signed up with me, launched her VA business, and now she's working with for herself, working with another agency and creating amazing content for celebrities. She's helping to manage social accounts for celebrities and actual businesses that are scaling incredibly, to the point where her and we've been on this journey now for 2 years. And she's now my chief operations officer. But that's the point of all of this. She started with me with no idea how to make it work, a child of severe trauma as myself. But because of her willingness to go forward, even when she didn't know what that would look like, she took action. She said yes. She said, I don't know what this is going to be, but I'm willing to bet on myself. I'm willing to say yes. And it's going to be scary. And I'm going to want to rage quit my business every other day for a little while, because we've all been there. She'll text me and she's like, thank you for supporting me when I wanted to rage quit my business today. Thank you for being the sounding board. But that's the power of coaching. is when you don't see it for yourself, when you can't actually put yourself in front of the mirror and say, you deserve this, you got this. That's why you pick up your phone and you reach out to your coach, because they will always see you in the highest light. They will always remind you of what's possible for you. They don't see you as a limitation that you put upon yourself. They see you for the beautiful miracle that you are. So that's one of the clients that I was sharing with you.
Do you want to share another one? Because that's an amazing story. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots, but this one in particular, yeah. Gosh, this next one in particular, she, again, actually, wow, I'm naming both of them from my hometown, which is crazy. I was looking at my social media analytics the other day, and one of the top views of my accounts are actually people from my hometown in Connecticut, here in the US. So I was just like mind blown. And I was just thinking about it. I was like, wow, the two that are coming to my mind right now are actually from my hometown. But anyways, she came to me, and she already had a successful business. There were months where she was hitting the 10K months, and then she noticed the dip. Whenever you notice this massive dip, it's never a business problem. It's a personal problem that you're bringing over into business. And you're like, okay, what's happening? Why is my ego getting hurt about this now? Or what's going on with my energy that is making me stop working or making me not be able to access my resources, right? And so we had a conversation, and we went in, and come to find out, she hit her governor. She hit her governor, her mental governor of what she thought she deserved in life and in business. Once we got to the root of it, we realized that her belief was that she wasn't worthy of surpassing 10K months. Now here we are, and she's doing amazing $25,000 months. But that's the power of doing that mental audit and doing the hard work, right? No one wants to do the hard work, the mental work. It's not fun. There's no glamour behind it. You cry. You probably yell and scream your way through it like a tantrum little child, but that's the work, right?
I have two questions for you. You specifically, okay, so I'm going to end on that one. Actually, we'll get to, what would you say to someone, male or female, who either has tried some form of business or they haven't tried anything, Jaymie, and they're sitting here going, well, that's great for Jaymie. Impressive, motivating, great, but that's not a party I'm invited to. What would you say to them? And then I have a follow-up thing after that.
Well, what's keeping you from pulling up a seat at the table? Because it has nothing to do with me. Like, if you're looking through the window and you're like, well, that's good for her on the other side of the window, and you're window shopping into somebody else's life, that means you're unwilling to look in the mirror.
Oh, yeah, that brings us right to this. You specifically chose these words. You said, so there's a dip, financial dip. You said it's always internal. It's not external. That's the manifestation of the, you said though, not access resources. You said, Jaymie, access my resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a mindset you have. Can you just unpack that a little bit? Because there's a belief you have that not everyone has.
Yeah. So this is the rule of cause and effect. The old handy dandy rule of cause and effect. Life is happening to me versus life is happening for me. Our inability to make life happen the way that we desire it is because we believe somewhere along the line that we are not in control of our destiny.
That's a big statement.
So we like to believe that other people are to blame for our internal reality. So I'm not happy because I didn't get the promotion, or they didn't see my potential, or I'm not happy today because this person cut me off on the highway. Let's just do normal life stuff, right? I'm not happy because I don't make enough money. What if you were happy and then you allowed yourself to believe into maybe what may be possible? Not saying that it could come true, just saying it's a possibility. You didn't just completely take it off the table. if there is a possibility that you can be happy in here, and look in the mirror and take a moment and say, you know what? I am no longer allowing the outside world to affect my internal reality. This is not reality out here. This is only a projection of our internal reality. So if you are unhappy in here, no matter what life circumstances change externally, you will still be unhappy, right? People are always saying, I'll be happy when I get the money. I'll be happy when I get the relationship. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. Then they get the promotion and they're still unhappy. Or they get the relationship and then they sabotage it and then they're wondering why they're single or divorced.
Yeah.
It's never about what's happening outside of you. If we can remember that, even as often as we want to judge other people, or we want to play the blame game, or we want to point the finger, I may say some shit that's pretty triggering right now. And I said that I would, right? I said this would be triggering and your audience may be triggered right now. And all of this is said with so much love because I've been there. I'm not above it. I'm so not above it. There's still moments that trigger me, but it's an invitation. Your triggers are an invitation to go deeper.
Love that. Your triggers are an invitation to go deeper. So if you're watching this, you're watching Jaymie-Lee Gerena.
Close. Close enough. I'll give it to you.
Isn't she inspiring? And I would encourage you to rewatch this. I'll be rewatching this, Jaymie, because I want to extract, and I believe that you have some key mindsets you've picked up along the way, things you've learned through trial and error, pain and triumph that we all can benefit from. Please reach out to Jaymie at what she's provided. And then your website again was Jaymie-Lee, like your full name, Jaymie-L.
M-I-E. And then just my last name. Yep, JAYMIEGERENA.com.
Okay, awesome. Jaymie, it's been power packed. Thank you for being on the Empower Network. I would love it, and we'll talk about this, but I'll reach out to you. I'd love you to be on some roundtables if you're open to that. Yeah, there's some specific ones that you would bring a wonderful perspective on. And the goal of the roundtables is to have, many different versions of perspectives to. So I'll reach out to you about that. Thank you for watching the Empower Network today. I hope, I trust that you were greatly blessed. And Jaymie, thank you for being here and blessing us with your.
For having me. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Okay, ciao for now.